Sup, weebs? You like books? I bet you like books, nerd.
I mean, I like books.
I know you do. Today, we are going to be talking about a show all about books. It's called Read or Die. We're doing a review of the OVAs, which is essentially a movie. There's 3 of them, encompassing a whole story about...
Books.
Books.
Well,
really,
I mean, very loosely, that's the very basic concept.
It's very basic. It is straight up like a late 90s spy thriller, like serious James Bond vibes, but it's an anime about a nerdy white girl who's
just
super neurodivergent. But before we get into that, you know what it is. Go watch it and then come and join us. So for now, let's talk about what me and Shawn have been into. Shawn, what you been watching, reading, whatever.
Mostly just been reading lately.
I do that too. I think I prefer reading manga.
I mean, it's a lot easier on my time schedule.
Same.
Time schedule? That's redundant.
Yeah, maybe a bit.
Anyways, I've been reading 2 very different things. Ice Guy and The Cool Girl.
Which I want to pick up. It's like an office rom-com, right?
Office rom-com where like some of the characters are descended from like various spirits of Japanese folklore.
All of that shit checks for me. That's like every box for me.
Right? And on the opposite end of the spectrum, I've also been reading Black Lagoon.
Black Lagoon is dark and it's a fucking banger, dude. I love Black Lagoon. I haven't read the manga, but I've seen the whole anime. Like it goes dark places at points, but it is also really fun because
that's what I've been getting. Like there's been a lot of dark stuff, but then there's also like shooting a helicopter out of the air with a torpedo.
Like I was sold. The first arc, they literally take a boat. They hit a jump like it's nothing, and then they shoot a torpedo at a chopper, which, like, I'm about that life. And we'll talk about that more later. Just throwing shit at shit that you shouldn't be throwing at shit is, like, my jam.
It's like a Michael Bay movie, except it's not terrible.
Yeah, right? Like, I was playing Zenless Zone Zero, newer Hoyo game. Fucking love it. And at one point, you just fucking throw a train at somebody. Just right off the tracks, you fucking hit them with it. Like, throw shit that shouldn't be thrown. I'm about it. So, also, I've picked up My Hero. You just finished that, right?
The last chapter just came out.
Yeah, so the manga's finished. I've been reading it from where I left off, which, like, I'm behind the anime right now. I'm really loving it. I mean, there's parts that they, like, the pacing in that, it can get really bad.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I love Mid-Hero. I think it's great. I think Mid-Hero is a little harsh on it. And, I think a lot of the hate it gets is more because the fandom than it is the actual content.
Yeah, a sizable portion of the fandom is trash.
And so people just end up hating it. Like, it suffers from the curse of popularity, where people just hate it because it's mainstream. It's good. It's not amazing, but it's good. Like it has some of, like when you're talking about your classic shonen tropes of just being fucking tough.
Yes.
Like, it nails it, dude. What it nails hard. What it messes up is pacing to the point that, like, it can get frustrating to read at points, in my opinion.
So I think overall you made the right decision to wait until it was over to start reading it
Yeah,
again.
no, man, I'm really glad I did, because, like, the one fight lasts forever, and waiting every week to see what happens next just to find out that, oh, here's the twist on their end, here's the twist on their end, like 5 fucking times.
Or God forbid they take a couple week break, and by the time you get back to it, it's like, I forgot what exactly happened.
Right? I need to be able to read things straight through or I suffer. I picked up Mysterious Disappearances, not the anime, but the manga. It's pretty much if Ochako was like stacked and an adult trying to solve like mysteries about yokai and shit. It's okay. It's solid. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to keep reading it. I mean, I'm caught up. It wasn't like that far ahead in the first place, but I'm about her eyebrows, honestly.
Fucking dot eyebrows.
Like, yeah, well, like they're a little bigger than dots, but like circular eyebrows, I jam with them. I also picked up Marriage Toxin, which is like a lot of fun. I didn't really know what I was getting into, but it's about an assassin who is kind of, his hand is forced to find marriage, even though he never thought he would. So like in the first episode, he's supposed to kill somebody, and because she's been getting dudes to adult her and stuff, and she's been getting in the way of this gang's money. She's just been taking money from them, and so he's just like, listen, you are a seductress. Marry me because I need to marry. And they were like, no. And then he's like, help me get married. And then it just turns out like this seductress is just a dude who's just like, I know, right? This is like your first chapter. I'm like they super sold it. And he likes dressing as a woman because women are prettier, but like he'll seduce anyone. And so like it's him trying to get our main character married, just like the ultimate wingman. And then he's just a superpowered assassin fighting other assassins. It's a lot of fun. Like there's a lot of camp to it, but like it's so much fun. Definitely recommend like at least picking it up. I'm not that far into it. I think just like 50 chapters, but But yeah, definitely enjoying it. So let's get back to the matter at hand. Read or die. Spoilers ahead again for the OVA. I don't know much about the series. Hit us up. Let us know if we should read it or if it just kind of falls flat.
Or we should just fucking avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, definitely. You know, sometimes you got to. I'm looking at you, Akame ga Kill. I will die on this hill. Fucking fight me. I hate it. I don't get the following, but you know, you do you. So, our story starts with very... It's not quite Independence Day because it's not aliens, but like Independence Day level, like there's an attack on the Capitol.
They blew up the White House.
They blew up the White House. I love how America is represented in this series. It's so great. Like they've got such an awesome caricature of George W. Bush. Because like mind you, this came out in the post Y2K, pre
TSA
era, you know. So
if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And it's just everything that involves the Americans just tickles me so much. It's so great. So the U.S. is getting attacked by an electric samurai.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it is. Just to go with it, like the whole spy theme of this. There's so much about this show that is like really like a spy jam. So like the opening itself feels like a James Bond movie. And then you've got like fun things like, you know, our main character. It's so campy. Like we're talking like fucking Pierce Brosnan Bond movies because like our main character is Agent Paper, Yomiko Reedman. Like when they said her name out loud, I forgot about that because I watched it a long time ago when it first aired on Adult Swim, and like they said Yomiko Reedman. I'm like, you are fucking kidding me, like,
motherfuckers.
Are you serious? I
Way to
love
phone
it.
it in.
I love it, but like, are you really, guys? And so you've got that going for it. What other like spy movie jams?
It's got like British spy masters.
British spy masters, shitty Americans.
Bad guys with bad accents.
Bad guys with bad accents. Serving tea all the time. These guys fuck with tea. Thank you very much, Wendy. You're the real MVP.
Also, fucking ridiculous deaths. It feels like everyone that dies some like over the top.
Oh yeah, no, it's all super over the top, and it all just meshes with that late '90s, early 2000s like super spy vibe. Every bit of it. The music in it, the opening. The fact that she's Agent Paper, the way she gets caught, and then the bad guy gives his whole monologue about everything he's doing. You've got the hot chick with the
questionable name,
and
questionable background,
and questionable costume. I mean, it's just like everything about it just encompasses spy movie. And I don't know how I forgot about that. Like I watched it a while ago, and there's so many cool like supernatural-ish things about it, but I don't know how the entire like thematic feel of it got past me. It's probably just because like my I just have no cinematic literacy.
I was about to say your brain fucking wasn't formed the first time you watched it.
My brain what?
Wasn't fully formed the first time you watched it.
It wasn't where it is now. It was before the drugs. So yeah, no, like let's get into it. Let's talk about it. So Yomiko Reedman, or Agent Paper, is just about books. That is her life.
She about that life.
She is. So like just right at the start, you see her house. It's just stacks of books everywhere. She's just a cluttered mess. She's frumpy, like dressed frumpily. I think frumpy is referring to clothes, but I use frumpy to explain people's bodies to them.
I feel like that's an accurate portrayal, and I feel like it's not because she can't afford better clothes.
Oh, she just don't give a fuck.
She just buys books.
Head in a book. And so like she goes out to look for books, finds a book she really likes, and she's so book focused that like she buys this book on credit. Like she just has credit with the store.
She's like,
somehow.
I only get paid once a month. Would you mind?
And then they let her go. When she was in the bookstore, she also like somebody else tries grabbing the book. And
mysterious purple-haired lady.
Mysterious purple-haired lady who might have a questionable name.
And then just vanishes.
Just vanishes. And so she walks out and is reading her book. And like the whole every part of this series, like I feel like they just tried to fit a shit ton into 3 episodes.
Yeah.
But it works. But everything escalates very quickly. So she's just reading her book, and then all of a sudden a guy riding on a giant grasshopper swings by, and the grasshopper swallows her book. And she's not having it, guys.
I also would not have it.
But she's like really not having it. So she just like fucking guns to the wind. And so far in we're like 10 minutes in, she seems like a just basic normal person. And,
just a very, very book focused person.
And then all of a sudden she's just like, her power, she controls paper. So He takes her book and she just fucking jukes it for him. She jumps, grabs at the book, even though a giant grasshopper's about to eat it. He tries flying away. And so this is where we first get to see her powers. Like, she chains a bunch of pieces to paper together. So I think how it works is if she touches the paper or paper touching paper, she controls it. So she can then manipulate it. She can bend it. She can make it sharp. She can make it hard. She can make it attached to things. So she, like, attaches the paper to the grasshopper's leg, and that kind of stops it from flying. And then she fucking runs up, and she runs this fucker down. She's not having it, and I'm about that. This is, like, another thing she does with the paper, which is really great, is the guy ends up reaching for something, a gun or something like that. Or no, he reaches for the book.
Yeah.
And so she throws the paper and it just like saran wraps his hand down. So like she can use it to just like lock people down as well. There's so many fun. One of my favorite things about it, the most memorable thing for me, was how much they do with the superpower like paper. She is just an insane superpower just using paper. So she ends up, they get the book back. She ends up cutting the paper loose, and then the giant grasshopper goes flying into the building. The dude seems to die, but then he like hatches out of his body like a cocoon. But we got our book back.
Yeah, we're not questioning that. We got our book back.
So, Yoan Reedman is actually a secret spy for a secret organization that I don't remember the name of, which is headed by a guy named Joker, who has an assistant named Wendy. You the real MVP.
Shout out to Kevin Durant's mom. That was the reference the real MVP came from. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, sure. No, listen. Like, if you sport, you vibe with Shawn. I'm not there. I'm sorry. So all of a sudden, she's a super spy, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to come and save the world."
She's like, "Absolutely fucking not. I want to read my book."
She's like, "I want to read my book. I've got a teaching job coming up. You guys are all willy-nilly. Like, you never pay me." And they're like, "Hey, we'll give you the book after."
You don't pay me enough to cover my book habit. Like, she's fucking talking about doing smack.
Yeah, oh, no, it's terrible. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you the book if you do this. She's like, yeah!
Not only that book, but the second volume, too. That's what I think really hook, line, and sinkers her.
Yeah, it is. I get it. Like, we're collectors, so I think we get it that you got that itch, you know?
Oh, my God.
you get that itch, you got to scratch at it.
As a fellow book nerd, I feel her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm that way with different collectibles, but no, I feel it. I vibe with it. I'm not here to hate. So that's when we meet, like, the rest of our crew. You know, they call in Drake, and then they call in the other person who you met earlier, and her name is...
Ms. Deep.
Ms. Deep.
Or Miss Deep.
Miss Deep.
Either way, doesn't matter. It's still questionable as fuck.
She goes deep. So
she go deep.
And so that's her questionable name. You know, she's Miss Deep, and what she does, she can phase through stuff. And I like calling them deep paper because, you know, it's deep and paper. Deep. Okay, yeah, no, it's not that funny. I know. And then you've got Drake, who gets called in as well. And Drake's just a dude.
Just a dude with a gun.
Just a dude with a gun and a kid that he wants to see.
I just want to go on vacation. I'm too old for this shit.
Like, he is literally just a freaking whitewashed Danny Glover.
From
like,
Lethal Weapon.
He fits right into that era so perfectly. So yeah, now we've got our team. We've got Ocean's 4. We've got Deep, Paper, Drake, and Wendy serving tea. They end up getting ready to head out because they're hunting down books. So they head to... some town, they tell you all the places. I'm not really good at remembering all that.
Geography's a bitch.
Geography is not my strong suit. I know where like 10 states are, and I live in the U.S. and probably 4 or 5 of those states surround me. And one is Texas because that one's hard to miss. So
because they're loud and annoying.
Big is the word they use for that.
Oh, okay, my bad. I went in a different direction.
So yeah, we got our team together. They kind of show the Joker's a little sus of Deep. So they go looking for a book, and instead of finding a book, they find a D-bag.
And not just any D-bag, but if we're talking books here, that's like Colleen Hoover level douchebag.
For you Book Talk fans?
Question mark?
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure that's a Book Talk folk, right?
Yeah, I mean, people hate on her, and rightfully so.
Book Talk's weird. I've never gotten into it. They are thirsty motherfuckers. More power to them. Lean in, you know?
I mean, yeah.
But Book Talk's weird.
Book Talk is weird. I've got a friend at my day job who started reading on her Kindle, reading all this fucking smut that comes up on Book Talk.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like, comes up to me, wants to talk about her book. Is like, what book are you reading? I'm like, is it called Dick Down by the Devil?
No, everybody knows about Triple D, dog.
And she was like, no, it's just a regular demon, not the devil.
I mean, I want Dick Down by the Devil on my shelf, so let's find that shit. But the D-bag we find is actually Genja. He is straight up a character from Journey to the West. He has the extending pole, which was also adapted into like Dragon Ball Z. The flying cloud, also adapted in Dragon Ball Z. He's got fire breath.
And he's Moses.
And he's Moses. He parts the fucking sea. Just more context here. Like, the guy's Moses with bonus powers. And you just fucking throw Drake at the guy.
Just a dude with a gun and a dream.
It's a dude with a gun and a kid that he wants to be in a gift shop. That's like what I love about Drake, is he's just like always complaining about it. He's just like reluctant, like I am if I have to like clean up vomit, you know? Yeah. Like, hey, go fix the toilet. And I'm like, and that's Drake, except he's got to like face world-ending threats.
Instead of facing poop, he's facing shitty people.
Yeah, shit. I mean, shit's shit, right? His is just a little more threatening. So my boy from Journey to the West, he is quite the adversary. We've got Deep Paper taking him on, like they're both trying to take him down. And that's when he ends up parting the Red Sea. Drake, in the meantime, is with a crew on a submarine. That's kind of how they got there and shit. So he parts the Red Sea, the sub falls kind of out, and then the girls are fighting him. Deep gets like knocked into the water, so Paper's trying to hold her own. There's a really cool scene here where Paper is trying to defend against him.
Yeah.
So like,
it's super cool.
He's got like a flaming pole. I didn't even mean to see that. Say
We're
that.
so children.
Dude, like my boy's got gonorrhea. He's swinging at her. And just like every time he hits, the paper burns away a little more. So
Yeah,
it's just,
she's just like using like a solitary 8.5 by 11 page.
And so every time he hits it, she kind of changes how she holds it, because he just keeps striking her until the point that she's like holding 2 fingers out to hold this piece of paper in. And it's just freaking sweet. You know, it's those little touches in her power that I really love. So that happens, and once she's like cornered, Drake from the sub is like, hey, bro, lead her over here. I'm a hitter.
We got a ridiculous plan going.
We got a ridiculous plan
I was watching
going.
Black Lagoon earlier.
Yeah, right? He's like, hey, I've been watching this show and I got an idea. So she literally leads him over right in front of the sub, and she's got a suitcase full of paper. She like pulls a shield over them, and they hit this motherfucker with a torpedo. They've got a sub that can't move, so we take him to the sub and we launch a torpedo at him. But my guy just flies right up. He stands on top of his stick, swings up. I mean, he took damage from it, and he takes out his rage on that submarine. He just starts fucking it up with the stick. So you know, once that happens, Nancy shows back up. She catches his pole because she lets it go through him a little bit, and then she gets hard. I'm going to work on my verbiage here.
You really do. There's a lot of phrasing moments here.
But
you're not wrong. Like, she temporarily lets the pole phase into her, and then she unphases
to hold it down so Yomiko can. And this is like, she does the thing with the saran wrap, but at his face. So she's just like throwing it at his face, covering his face, just causing suffocation, causing no breathing. They tried to hit him with a torpedo speeding.
I fucking hate you. I hate you. Stop. We're going to get copyrighted.
So yeah, that slows him down enough, and then she ends up hitting him with a sharp piece of paper in his like steampunk heart.
Yeah, there's some sort of device on his chest that like pumps his blood since he's like not an actual living being.
Yeah, they've been resurrected, him and somebody else I need to talk about that I didn't talk about, and then the grasshopper guy, and then Beethoven's here. Why not?
That deaf bastard.
That deaf bastard. But he's alive long enough that he throws the book up, it gets caught, and then before he can say anything, a mysterious smoking old dude throws a staff through his chest.
Yep, staff with a skull on it, right?
Yep.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of a cool look, you know. It's a good look on it.
It's metal as fuck.
It is metal as fuck. Not as metal as, you know, like their whole moving steampunk base is made of metal, but, God, you know, my jokes are really just, like, missing the mark today.
So
it
bad.
is just terrible.
We all have off days.
Speaking of off days, there's a whole arc we missed.
Yeah, there is.
And that's my fault, not Sean's. So, before all of this happens, after the grasshopper happens...
we go to New York.
We go to New York. The big New York
Still in
City.
hunt of books, though.
So what?
Still in hunt of books, though.
Yes, we're still in hunt of said book because there's a glider guy being a dick, and he's trying to steal the book. His name is Otto Lilienthal. I guess he's the glider king.
That's what he calls himself.
I
don't know what he actually did in real life. Cause like
probably something glider related. We should have looked it up. Shame on us.
The inventor of the paper plane.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
So he's got this steampunky bird that he's flying in. There's choppers coming for him, and like everyone knows that Chopper's greatest weakness is, I guess, a bird type glider, and
Yeah.
World War II German grenades.
Maybe World War II. They might be World War One.
I don't know. They're the drumstick ones.
Oh yeah, I think those are World War One.
He's just dropping those everywhere, but it's just like, it doesn't need to be believable, but like he takes out like a whole fleet of choppers. Like choppers aren't that incompetent, bro. Huh? Come on.
The choppers might not be.
I mean, a girl chases him down with a paper plane. Like the choppers would have been fine.
Yeah. We forget to mention that fucking Agent Paper and Ms. Deep are chasing him in an actual human-sized paper plane.
Yeah, it's really great. Like, they end up getting stranded. He's flying away, and so Paper's like, I've got an idea. And once she starts, I think Deep and Drake are just both like, fuck no.
So dumb.
So she just takes out all this paper and just like paper maches it into a giant paper airplane. And then they have Drake throw it. So he throws it off the building. Like, this is such a cool scene because it's just like, no, you're not gonna. So he throws it, they start falling. She's like, oh, I didn't make a tail. So they end up flying at the last minute. So this dude, like, outmaneuvered choppers. But this fucking paper plane, it keeps up with them.
Aerodynamic as fuck.
Right? And it's a really fun scene where they're chasing him down. Real spy action-y. And at one point, I want to know more about Miss Reedman because...
Yeah, right.
At one point, she lands on his glider, and so he pulls out a pistol to stop her.
As one does.
So she pulls out, like, a card-sized piece of paper, blocks the bullet. And then he just keeps shooting. She keeps pulling out more, blocking more bullets. So it's like she's got a major in book reading and, like, a minor in sleight of hand, I guess. Because, like... But, like, there's so many things about her. Like, yeah, she can make paper hard, but there was a dude swinging a whole ass stick at her, and she stopped him with 2 fingers. She's stopping bullets, like, superhuman speed. Like, I'm pretty sure she is Atlas, because she has to be that strong. Like, she has to be that strong.
Yeah, she was, like, genetically engineered in a fucking paper factory, I guess.
So that's all a cool scene with the auto stuff, and how that ends up is she ends up connecting paper to his glider and then that to the head of the Statue of Liberty.
As one does.
And then he just spins around it real fast until he ends up crashing. The book goes flying. She leaps before she thinks and just starts falling. And her coat gets caught on the Statue of Liberty's head, like the crown.
Yeah.
She had that was not planned. She had no idea. She just jumped for the book. She didn't give a fuck about
book.
her life.
I want my book.
That's actually probably the most said phrase in the show is my book.
Give me back my book.
Give me my book. Where's my book? My book.
I haven't started reading my book. I haven't finished my book.
And at this point, Ms. Deep tells Yomiko her real first name because Yomiko Paper had asked for it earlier instead of her code name. She says, we don't do that here.
We're just professionals. We're not friends.
But she says, my name's Nancy.
I've always hated my code name. I always thought it sounded like a porn star.
Because it does.
The costume doesn't help.
That was their big building moment. And so when Ms. Deep takes a pull in the stomach, when Ms. Deep gets hurt...
Joe swinging real big pole.
So when Ms. Deep gets hurt, you know, Yomiko is very moved by that because they have grown to be more friends. Ms. Deep, Nancy even like braided Yomiko's hair and stuff, and it's a cute little scene. They talk a little, you know, so they're getting to know each other.
Some girl talk, like they're fucking having a sleepover.
And then like Drake is just like, fuck all.
I want to go home.
That's actually Drake's whole spiel. Okay, so now that we've backtracked after heading forward, we're going to head forward again. So
it's like a fucking Tarantino movie up in this bitch.
I know, right?
Without the feet stuff.
And it's... Yeah, it's weird. He's weird and I don't like it. The movies are good. His movies are good, but he's weird and I don't like it. Nancy's hurt. Nancy's hurting bad. And so Yomiko sat with her the whole time she was ill for like 2 or 3 days.
Unconscious for 2 days.
Unconscious for 2 days. And then lo and behold, the next scene we find out that Nancy's just been timing him the whole time. And so like, okay, you get this giant, moving sea fortress, rocket, laser firing, steampunk ass base.
It's basically Howl's Moving Castle if it was made by an oil baron.
Yeah, that's perfect. Like, hell yeah, America. But it's like, it's also like, I feel like British or something. I don't know. Nah. Either way, it's sweet.
It's colonizer as fuck.
It is definitely that. So it turns out Nancy was in love with the big bad guy all the time. So like, she knew it was wrong, but power of love isn't always a good thing, I guess.
I mean, look at Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah, that didn't play out, did it?
No, it didn't.
All the countries get together. They put Joker in charge because, I don't know, the Brits know stuff. And
apparently.
So the Americans send the Navy, lasers blow up the ship. There's nothing you can do except send in Paper and Drake.
Just the way you're explaining that is so fucking dumb.
That's straight up how it is.
I know, but hearing it said out loud.
He started from the bottom, now he's here.
Definitely not like us.
I see what you did there. They get there and pretty much immediately it's like they're dead. Drake falls off to his death and then...
He gets yeeted by a bug.
He does. And then his comms go dark and then Yomiko gets kidnapped and then she gets thrown in a cage of water. Not like a cage, like...
It feels like just like a slowly flooding basement.
Yeah, except it's a steel tank. At which point the boss, Joker's boss, calls him and he's like, do you got this, or do we need to sick the Americans on them?
Because apparently we're nothing but sociopaths.
And they keep cutting to the George W. Bush character just, like, freaking out. And, like, at one point he's like, we gotta shoot the nukes! And, like, he's trying to launch the nukes.
Actively goes to try and launch the nukes. He hits one button, opens the cover of another button,
and then they tackle him. It's great. It's such a funny character. Just, like, everything about the U.S. in it just kills me. It's so good. But Joker's like, no, we got this. We don't want to, like, we don't...
Just give me some more time.
He's like, the whole world's in danger.
I haven't had my afternoon tea yet.
Haven't had my tea. Whole world's in danger, but there's a small chance that my one agent is still alive, so we're not going to do that. But then the big bad, super spy movie. The big bad, she's in a room flooding with water. Nancy shows up, and he's just like, this is my whole entire plan. And his whole entire plan is that he resurrected Beethoven, and Beethoven's going to play a symphony that makes everyone kill themselves. And if you've seen The Kingsman, it sounds a little bit familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, and this was actually already demonstrated earlier in the movie when Wendy walks in and just sees a bunch of people.
Oh yeah, a bunch of people killed themselves already because of it.
And then she almost trips and falls again because she's clumsy as fuck.
Wendy, the real MVP. So after he gives this whole spiel, Nancy's like, well, you said you'd save my friend. And he's like, yeah, but I'm just going to clone her instead because clones listen. And then wham, right from behind, a Nancy clone kills Nancy. So Deep went deep inside Deep. It's like she's kind of dead, but then she like kind of drifts down. She phases through the ground and disappears.
Yeah, like maybe she died and disappeared. I don't know how people with those type of powers act when they die. Maybe they just vanish.
Well, I think Bad Nancy... I guess they're both Bad Nancy. Extra Bad Nancy is just like, well, maybe she'll just phase through to the center of the earth and die. They assume Nancy's dead, even though they didn't see her die. They close the door. They assume Yomiko's dead, even though she didn't die. And this is where the power of friendship comes in because she can't get out, but she's got her little braids.
And what'd she use to tie that braid up?
Paper. And so, like, her little bows, she uses those to cut free. She gets free, gets stopped by evil Nancy, but then evil now good Nancy shows up, and they start duking it out. And then Reedman runs away. In the meantime, Drake is fighting the grasshopper, bro, and he blows him up with a rocket launcher? I don't remember, actually.
Something artillery-based.
Drake is gonna Drake. So he kills them, and then you see Drake needs to fight the crazy electric samurai.
As one does.
Whose name is...
Genai,
yeah. I think he's a famous... I think everybody in this is famous. All the bad guys are famous.
I feel like they all have, like, real-life counterparts.
Yeah, that. So he's got to fight him, but then Yomiko shows up, and she's like, bro, you got to disable this train, because there's a... Listen, it's a little convoluted, but there's a train that's going to start the countdown for the rocket that's going to go into space. That rocket in space is going to broadcast Beethoven's Suicide Symphony, so they need to stop the rocket from going off. Okay, there, we're caught up. So Yomiko's like, go stop the train countdown or whatever. And Yomiko's like, I got this. She just steals his wallet from him. So again, we're going with the sleight of hand thing because she effortlessly steals this guy's wallet and then she turns the paper into a samurai sword.
As one does.
So, like, let's check this. Let's check this resume, okay? First of all, book nerd. She's probably got a doctorate in something.
Being a freak.
She's like deep in that dirty book talk. She is a super spy. She is a master of sleight of hand. She is apparently the strongest human being.
Utterly fearless.
She is a samurai. This girl should have a job everywhere.
She could
teach. She could teach. She almost landed a teaching job. Like, what the hell, Yomiko?
I want to play the video game.
I would. Oh, yeah. I'd be into that. So now she's suddenly a samurai with dollar bills. Again, why? I love how cool the paper is because I would never think of that, you know? stealing from a dude and turning that paper into a samurai sword, and she changes it because like at first she's just got it blunt to block his blasts, which, you know, like she's got it like rolled up like paper. Well, rolled up like a newspaper rolled up, which I'm assuming makes it harder, so it's easier to block.
I would assume.
And then when he corners her at one point, she turns it into an actual sword so she can cut a pipe so she can get away. She's so cute and sweet and harmless, and she is a murder train. She is not afraid to kill the fuck out of somebody because she douses this guy. She never like directly kills someone. Like with Polbro, she definitely would have killed him. Like she cut his heart. You know, he was dying. Somebody else just sped it up. So she didn't technically kill him. And then she didn't technically kill this guy. She just doused him in freaking...
Probably liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen, froze him solid, and then he broke into a bunch of tiny pieces.
Honestly, like, I feel like she's the type of person who would shoot someone and be like, I didn't kill him, the gun did.
That is 100% how it plays out, I swear. Like, they want her to look like the good guy who won't kill anybody, so she doesn't. It's easy.
Unlike James Bond, she does not have a license to kill.
She does... That's never addressed. But I do feel like it's like the ending of... I feel like they could fall on the Batman Begins thing where, like, Batman's like, I don't kill anybody. We're just on a moving train, and I'm not gonna save you, even though I put you in the predicament to die right now. So I didn't actually kill you. That's that's a you problem. Which I feel like is that, you know, she's like, well, I didn't make you not move out of the way of that liquid nitrogen. So, Drake does his job. He stops the countdown. And then our bad guy, whose name is Sojun, he's like, yeah, fuck that. I got a button anyway. And so the rocket ship launches. Reedman jumps on and then goes to stop it. So, like, she jumps on. I love her so much. She's just like, she climbs up this rocket ship going into space and just knocks on the window.
Like, they'll just fucking let her in.
And then just cuts it open. And then, you know, Big Bad gives his spiel, and then Nancy shows up. Hi, Nancy, blah, 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 blah. Is it evil Nancy, or evil Nancy, or evil now good Nancy? I don't know.
Is it Nancy Reagan?
Is it...
Secretly the evil Nancy?
What do you mean secretly? So Nancy shoots Yomiko. It's like, yes, but it's like very clear that she shot her in the skirt between her legs. And so the one dude's like, oh, I knew you were my evil Nancy. And then she fucking rips his heart out. Like, actually. She just phases through, pulls his heart out, and then, like, crushes it. I don't know. I might be making
what
that
fucking
up.
Mirio should do in My Hero.
But who?
Mirio? The guy who can phase through shit?
Oh. Lemillionaire?
Yes.
Is it
Lemillion?
Lemillion. Okay, I actually forgot his first name because he like just came back.
Okay, yeah. Sorry for that sidebar, but yeah.
No, like we're going full circle. We have touched back to My Hero, which will probably be our next episode, like 4 times now. So if you like My Hero and you like these little chime-ins, like hell yeah, come back. So yeah, no, bad guy's dead, and then Beethoven goes out like the biggest bitch on earth because like Paper just throws like a paper kunai. Really, it's just like a throwing card, and it cuts the strings that were like holding up the piano, and Beethoven just goes, ah, and then falls forward like the biggest bitch on earth. Like, it's great. It's great because, you know, we came in like a storm and we kind of crawled out with a whimper, but that's okay. So it's time to get off the rocket. It's going into space. We can't go into space. We're going to die.
We don't have helmets.
We don't have helmets. You just cut the window open, asshole. So... Nancy and Yomiko, she's like, okay, well, I'll make a paper parachute. We can go. And Nancy's like, okay, we'll go. And then she jumps, but Nancy doesn't, and they're holding hands. And
then Nancy just phases.
So Yomiko goes down. Nancy wants to die with her lover, and she's talking to the corpse and stuff, which is like, I want to say is weird, but like I talk to things that can't talk back all the time. Sometimes animals, sometimes inanimate objects. Sometimes just parts of my body.
Sometimes the ghosts in the hospital you work in.
Those are things. Those talk back. They tell me to do bad things, and I say, no, I got a job to do.
Got to replace this light bulb.
Yes, let's just take my job and just reduce it to changing light bulbs. Ass. First you attacked my house a while ago, and now my job.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sidebars aside, so she floats down. Nancy dies, talks to a corpse, and then everybody's happy. Turns out Nancy survives, but she has brain damage from suffocating in space. And,
as one would.
And then Yomiko visits her, and she's just, like, very childlike and whatever.
So, yeah, she's trying to do origami, but can't quite do it.
And then they give you that the end, or is it? Because I think she makes a face like she's cognitive at the end, doesn't she?
Something like that. Like
And
she has some sort of awareness.
The end of Nancy, or is it? So yeah, that's our movie. It was great. I loved it. I watched it when it first came out on Toonami in like 2005.
And I don't recommend doing this, but I fucking pirated that shit when I was in college.
I mean, we didn't watch an official license this time either. It's really hard to find. So support the official release when you can. I mean, like, I do own the official Read or Die art book.
Close enough.
I've given some. But yeah, no, it sucks when that happens with licensing things. It's just really hard to find.
It just fucking goes out of print,
and you can't find it anywhere. You've got to buy secondhand DVDs. In this case, it is a DVD, not even Blu-rays, you know? And so it's always a shame when that happens, and I really hope that they can stop that with a lot of these streaming sites, especially Crunchyroll, which I don't know how Crunchyroll's as shitty as it is.
Oh, my God.
Like, real quick. Crunchyroll. If you go to their shop, and you go to shop, you can, in their app, if you, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but, like, it won't let me sort. I can filter, but when I hit the sort button, it just doesn't work. Yeah. It works on the webpage. Like, there's so much about Crunchy. Their packaging is horrible. They don't know how to package anything. They've destroyed 3 of my boxes now. I'm making that up. It was just 1, but they really fucked it up. All right. I'm good. I'm off. But Crunchyroll, be better. I know you can. You are Monopoly.
Also, fuck your Blu-ray of Bocchi the Rock. Apparently, they fucking made the Blu-ray for Bocchi the Rock, and it doesn't have the English dub on it.
Seriously?
Yeah, that's the only reason why I didn't buy it.
I mean, I don't blame you for that. All right. So either way, Crunchyroll hit aside. I mean, I use Crunchy. They could be better.
Feel free to sponsor us.
Please. That's actually, I was like stepping back because I was like, I don't know. Like, I could use Crunchy as a sponsor. Like, I do spend money on them.
We like you guys. You could be better.
That's what we're saying. So, we're going to do a shame rating on this. How shameful is it to watch this show? You know, your parents walk in, how's that going to go? Your significant other walks in, how's that going to go? So, I'm not ashamed to watch this. I could watch this with anyone. You're like, I feel like most people would just be like, people who don't know, they'd be interested if they sat for 10 minutes. Yeah. We're going to give it an 8 on a scale of 1 being terrible, going down like a bitch like that deaf bastard Beethoven, and then a 10 being like
surviving and reading your fucking book.
Yeah. So the 10 would being not shameful at all. We're going to give it an 8.
Yeah. Solid.
I mean, like, you've got deep throat, and you know if
got some jiggle physics.
you got some of that. Do it jiggle.
Do it jiggle though. The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. So, but like really, there's nothing that's really gonna like give people the real bad ick that they're just like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
It's super enjoyable. I recommend it to anybody. It takes an hour and a half to watch if you can find it.
So even if you don't like it, it's only an hour and a half. You've wasted your time doing more things.
Yeah, no, I've definitely. I mean, what are you going to do? Doom scroll? Like, no, fuck that. Okay, so if you get a chance, reach out to us at the app formerly known as Twitter. We are at Lowkey Weebs. I keep saying this, I never check, but you can. I'm pretty sure you can comment on us on Spotify, so please do. I don't know many people who do it, but like, let's start.
I've seen 1 or 2 on some podcasts I listen to, but people don't really.
It's not like a social media thing; it's a listening thing. But yeah, no, reach out to us. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know if you like us, hate us. I don't care. I can handle some hate mail. Do it.
Yeah, you can't say anything that I haven't said worse to myself,
or that we haven't said to each other.
That's a fucking challenge.
Anything you say to Shawn, I will one-up you. So yeah, hey, thanks for coming, guys. Let us know if you ended up watching it. I really hope you did. It's such a fun, easy-to-watch show. I could watch it 100 times.
It's a good way to spend an afternoon.
It really is. So thanks for coming out. Until next time, let's keep it low-key, weebs.
Peace. Do it jiggle, though!